Video 58, Math Lesson 8.7, Multiplication of Fractions and Whole Numbers. In the math message, you were asked to complete page 269. Let's take a look at your work right now. Okay, you were asked to draw an area model for each product, then write the product as a fraction or as a mixed number. If you remember in our last lesson, this was the strategy that was called using addition, or I mentioned that it's like doing repeated addition. So if your fraction is 1/3 and you need to times that 4 times, it's like adding 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So if you think about here how you've got 1/3, another 1/3, another 1/3, another 1/3. Here's 1/3 4 times. If you put them all together, what you're looking at is 4/3. Now 4/3 is an improper fraction, so we could simplify that. 4 divided by 3 is 1, with the remainder of 1/3. Okay, and number 2, we've got 1/4 times 3. Now our boxes are not divided for us, so we have to divide it into fourths. I'm just going to quick do them all at the same time. Okay, so our wholes are divided into fourths, and it's 1/4. So we're going to go 1/4, 1/4, 1/4, 3 times. Okay, so here we have 1/4 times 3. And if we look at what we have together, we have 3/4. And that can't be simplified. Okay, take a look at problem 3. Here we've got 2 times 3/5. Okay, so we have to take our whole, we have to divide it into fifths, imagine that they're equal, and we have 2 times 3/5, so we need to show 3/5 here twice. Now, how many fifths is that altogether? It is 6/5. Or, in other words, what? Because 6/5 is an improper fraction. How could it be simplified? 6 divided by 5 is 1, with the remainder of 1/5. And in the last one, we've got eighths. Oh goodness, this is going to be hard, isn't it? You know, it's a good idea to use a straight edge when you're working in your journal. You know, remember, a straight edge can be something like a ruler because it's got a straight edge, but it doesn't have to be a ruler. It really can be anything with a straight edge, just to kind of help you make straight lines and keep your work neat. Let's see, am I making the right number of divisions here? Should have eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, good. I have eighths. Now, we're talking how much? 3/8. So in each one of these, oh, it's going to cover it up. I've got to have 3/8 covered in. So that's a total of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9/8. And 9/8 is an improper fraction. So we can reduce that. 9 divided by 8 is 1, with the remainder of 1/8. Check your work. How did you do on that opening page? Well, I wonder if you noticed any sort of a pattern here. Today we're going to talk about an algorithm for fraction multiplication. Algorithm basically just means like the rule that we follow. Take a look here. It says a over b, that's just meant to represent a fraction, any number over another number, times c over d, okay, so a fraction times a fraction, equals a times c, those are our two numerators here, over b times d, those are our two denominators here. And it says the denominator of the product is the product of the denominators, and the numerator of the product is the product of the numerators. Kind of a lot of terminology there. Basically, it means we can multiply fractions just by multiplying the numerators and multiplying the denominators. Okay, it's what we talked about yesterday. Now, when you have a whole number situation, though, there's a problem because you don't have two fraction parts. You got a fraction part and a whole number part. Okay, and it doesn't matter what order those are in. So you can't just do this algorithm. You first must change that whole number into a fraction. Okay? Now, we know that we can take any whole number and put it over 1, and it's going to still be the same value. 2 over 1, that fraction still has a value of 2. 2 divided by 1 is 2, right? We could use, so let's say 8 over 4. 8 over 4 has a value of 2, right? So, you could use any fraction that has a value of 2, but why not use the simplest, okay, and the lowest numbers? So just take your whole number and put it over 1. So then your problem is 2/3 times 2 over 1. And then you just apply the algorithm. 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 1 is 3. So your answer is 4/3, or to simplify, 1 1/3. Okay, pretty simple. Just take your whole number and make it a fraction. Put your whole number over 1. So let's take a look at these examples here. 3/4 times 6. Well, what I do when I'm doing my work is I just kind of just make that into a fraction. Just put 6 over 1. Now I can do 3 times 6 is 18, and 4 times 1 is 4. Have you noticed how I've gotten an improper fraction every time, pretty much? That usually happens if you're doing a fraction times a whole number. You'll often get an improper fraction for your answer. So you're going to have to simplify. 18 divided by 4 is 4, with a remainder of 2/4. I know that 2/4 is equal to 1/2, so I'm just going to put 4.5. Okay, try problem 2. 7/8 times 3. First thing you have to do is make this whole number 3 into a fraction by putting it over 1. Now you can apply the algorithm. 7 times 3 is 21. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 goes into 21 2 times with a remainder of 5/8, because 8 goes into 21 2 times, that's 16. 21 is 16 is 5. Yep, 2 5/8. Okay? Now, there are some more problems to try on page 270 in your journal. Okay? You may have noticed these two problems are on that page as well. So you should have number 1 and number 2 written down in your journal as well. So if you need to take a look at this and copy that down, if you haven't yet, you'll want to do that. And then complete the rest of the page.